Each day, 75 people in the U.S. receive an organ transplant, but unfortunately, 18 others die every day while waiting for their procedure, and the list continues to grow. Fox's Randy Wallace has details on why minority organ donors are needed.
Working for Donate Life Texas is more than just a job for Charles Wiltz. He says his employer is the reason his mother is alive today.
It's a catch-22, you know, someone loses a loved one, but also enhances the life and saves the life of someone else's loved one.
Before his mother's organ transplant, Charles says his father held on to misnomers about being an organ donor that seemed to run rampant through minority communities.
The myth, oh, if I sign up, they're not going to save me when I get to the hospital. That's the very first thing everyone tells me. I'm like, okay, well, it's not true.
Sometimes folks think that they may not be able to have a proper funeral and viewing if they're an organ donor, and this is simply not the case.
Even though 4.2 million Texans are signed up to be organ donors, only about 1% will actually become donors.
To be a donor, you have to die in certain ways. You have to die in a hospital on a ventilator.
Because minorities are disproportionately affected by illnesses like diabetes and hypertension, they make up the majority when it comes to folks needing organ transplants, but they are the least likely to become organ donors. Check this out. In 2012, 11,309 minority patients received organ transplants, but there were only 2,762 deceased minority donors and 1,711 living minority donors across the country. Those disturbing stats are why Donate Life Texas is on the verge of a week-long campaign to get more minorities to become organ donors. While skin color is not a barrier when it comes to organ donations and transplants, the odds of a transplant being successful are much greater when a minority recipient receives an organ from a minority donor.
Now you can register to be an organ donor at the DonateLifeTexas.org.